My process begins as soon as a speech is booked. Because it's hard for me to prepare for something that's not going to happen. But the moment that I get invited for a speech, my mind starts to go to work at it. It looks for the specific points that I want to say and the stories that will illustrate it. And I always do in threes, a beginning, a middle, and an end. So that is part of my formulaic process. I saw early glimpses of it early on because of what I kept getting asked to do, like to speak and give presentations. But the thing is, even now I still have a tremendous amount of stage fright. I know that sounds crazy because this is what I do for a living, but I get it all the time. And because of that, in the early beginning, I prepared so crazy. I did Toastmasters, I did everything I could to get the butterflies out. But what they say in Toastmasters, I think, is the truth. You will never lose the butterflies, but you can teach them how to fly in formation.
Welcome to the Who You Know Show, where what you know is important, but who you know can make all the difference in your business, career, and your relationships in life. I'm super excited because we're here at Video Marketing World today, and this episode is brought to you by Real News PR, making you look like fly. You know what I'm saying? We look good. Julian, we look good, don't we?
We look good, man. Yeah.
I'm even more excited about our guest today because we got Julian Placino in the house, and he was just up on the stage here at this conference dropping the mics. He got a standing ovation. It was crushing it. This is one of the most polished. Okay, I'm the most unpolished. This is the most polished. Dude, you're just an amazing speaker, and I know you practice your craft and you perfect it, and you have perfected it, I feel. Because I'm telling you all the time, this guy is the trifecta. He's motivation, education, and inspiration all wrapped up in one. And so I would just like to dive into that real quick. So tell me, when did you start speaking on stages? Because I see you, real quick, I see you as being a top keynote speaker. I see that for you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I suppose I saw early glimpses of it early on because of what I kept getting asked to do, like to speak and give presentations. But the thing is, even now I still have a tremendous amount of stage fright. I know that sounds crazy because this is what I do for a living.
Dude, me too.
But I get it all the time. And because of that, in the early beginning, I prepared so crazy. I did Toastmasters. I did everything I could to get the butterflies out. But what they say in Toastmasters, I think, is the truth. You will never lose the butterflies, but you can teach them how to fly in formation.
Oh, hold on. Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a mic drop. Let's go.
I take no credit for that. I get that's a Toastmasters. No. But yeah, for sure.
No, you gave the credit to Toastmasters. I love that. So you can't control the butterflies, but you can teach them what?
You can teach them how to fly in formation.
In formation.
You can use the nerves for you instead of against you.
Absolutely. I love that. Okay, so you started going to Toastmasters. What have been some things that you've learned along the way as far as your speaking career has gone that you apply? Do you think out and structure a speech? And do you go with a formula? Is there in the beginning, I want to, connectivity, and then I want to, is there a formula you use when you're creating your speeches?
What's really interesting is a creative process because everyone has their own different process.
Yeah.
My process begins as soon as a speech is booked because it's hard for me to prepare for something that's not going to happen. But the moment that I get invited for a speech, my mind starts to go to work at it. It looks for the specific points that I want to say and the stories that will illustrate it. And I always do in threes, a beginning, a middle, and an end. So that is part of my formulaic process.
Okay. So you put a story in beginning, middle, and end.
You usually see whenever I'm speaking in points, there's a beginning, a middle, and 3 points. If I'm creating 3 keys to recruiting success, it's always 3. It seems to be comprehensive enough that you can fully unpack an idea, but short enough that you can maintain your audience's attention.
And that makes a lot of sense because if you go, they talk about the odd numbers, right? Top 3. Reasons to do whatever. 5, top 7, top 9. They say to do the odd numbers, but in a speech, I could see that maybe overwhelming. Even 5 might even be overwhelming. in a speech, because there's so much other information that you're gathering in the stories and everything else, right?
Yeah.
Did you find that too? So that's why you stuck to 3?
I stick to 3.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. That's awesome. Okay, so I want to talk about your speech that you just gave because it's super relevant for our audience with talent acquisition. And you just got a deal, putting together. I didn't catch the whole speech. I caught the very end, which was the climax, and it was awesome. Talk to us about the deal that you got worked out with Microsoft and how you achieved that, and what was your speech about today?
Yeah, so my speech was about resistance, the gateway to your pathway to success. And what is a gateway? A gateway is something you pass through. Therefore, in order to achieve success, you must pass through resistance. Resistance strengthens your character. It teaches you capability. It gives you new insight. And basically, I told my story of how I became a recruiter. So after I graduated from college in 2005, I was rejected 37 times in a row. And I really lost heart and confidence in myself because I was touted as this young, successful kid who was supposed to go take over the world. And here I was charging out into the marketplace and no one wanted me. But throughout that process, I learned how to present myself in an interview. I learned how to write a resume. I learned a systematic process to go and find a job. And the one company finally who offered me a job, it happened to be for Robert Half International, which is one of the oldest and largest and prestigious staffing firms out there. So instead of spending every waking hour of my day trying to find a job for myself, I was beginning a career where I was doing that, but now in the service of others.
Right.
And I've been in the recruiting industry for 16 years, and I've had the privilege of helping thousands find employment.
Man, hold up. Mic drop for that. Everybody that's out there looking for a job, you know what I'm saying? Look, you call me an expert. Nuh-uh. Look, Julian knows his stuff, okay? I've never ever created a resume.
You've never, but
Nada. No, I'm serious, and that's why on my LinkedIn profile, seriously, it says, dang it, I can't even remember what it says. It says without retailing your resume, like I'll show you how to get noticed by employers, how to get back to your cash flow without tailoring your resume, because that's what people hate doing.
Yeah.
They hate doing that resume. Going over and doing the keywords over and over and over again and tailoring it for every job description. And they go crazy and they think that the reason why they're not getting to work is that stupid piece of paper. And I'm like, listen, I look at it as the ROI. Where are you putting your time? And if your time is spent messing with this resume all the time and you're still not getting the result, then why don't we try something different? And so I show them marketing tactics and marketing strategies on how to actually get seen by the employer. What are you doing? Are you mixing the two? Are you like, I'm going to show them marketing and we're going to throw the resume in there too? Or what are you doing?
So, nowadays I work much more on the corporate side, the employer side, showing them how to recruit talent.
Okay.
There's a couple things I want to commend you for. Number one, it's very interesting that you serve the community this way in terms of job search, not coming from the industry. Because of that, you flood in all these incredible new insights into this world of recruiting that does things the same thing over and over and over. Because you're absolutely correct about the resume. The highest value event that can take place in anyone's job search is an interview, some type of conversation who can influence the decision to hire you. Right?
Yes, humans hire humans.
Everything else is marketing, including your resume. The purpose of your resume is to land the meeting. That's all it is, right?
Yes.
But that's how you get a job, is through relationship, conversation, selling yourself, getting in front of the person who can make a decision.
Who you know, right?
Who you know,
it's about
exactly,
who you know. And so, like we're teaching them how to put the videos together, how to, get their message out there to the world, get seen, get noticed. Like that's what I'm trying to put the human element back in, because the piece of paper is just not working. Like they're applying online and they get ghosted and they get the rejection emails and the auto emails. So much is automated now. There's so much tech involved that they're battling robots to try to get to a human. The ultimate goal is to get to the human, like you said.
Right.
And it's like they're battling all this tech. But if we can put the human element in before the resume, let's put a video out. Let's showcase what we can do. Let's anyway, so I digress. But I love what you're doing, man.
No, I have to tell the story because it speaks to your point. When I led recruiting for Bottle Rocket, I oversaw all of the hiring there, right? I remember there was this one requisition that we had. It was for an accounting clerk, right? And I posted the job. The next day, I had 300 applicants. At the end of the week, over 1,000. It was so overwhelming to me as a recruiter, I didn't even look at the applications. But here's what happened. The week after, someone walked to the office, knocked on the door, and asked to speak with me.
Oh.
I learned that person was the former controller at UT Southwestern. But having a conversation with her, I was like, she's a fit. I immediately introduced her to the CFO, and we hired her the next day. I didn't even look at any of the applicants.
Dang, mic drop for that lady. What was
Right.
her name? Do you remember her name?
Her name is Kathy Qualls. I love
Kathy!
I tell Kathy's story all the time because it represents a truth. What she did was not follow what everyone else did. And there's many different approaches to the decision maker, right?
Absolutely.
And what you do is you give them these amazing creative tools on LinkedIn and media to be able to generate that conversation. It all works as long as it gets you the highest value event, which is an interview with someone who can influence the decision to hire you. That's it.
Absolutely. And so one of the things that I show them is this tool called BombBomb, and it's a video.
I love BombBomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, the video messaging thing?
Yeah, the little video message. So we show them how to do this early on. So to get their attention on LinkedIn, we send a personalized video with the person's name on a whiteboard, and we do that in a comment, not in a DM. So we'll actually do a video comment, get their attention. They press play. They schedule, because it has a call to action built in. They schedule a screening right then and there. Boom. Now we're in the interview process. Through that interview process, now we're going to send video emails. Okay, those emails then go viral within the company because they're like, "What the heck? This guy's amazing! Like, I got a video thank you email.
Yeah.
Wow!" And so it goes. We call it the Trojan horse, the job search Trojan horse. It goes. And it just works, man. It's crazy. But the only problem is getting people to do it.
Yeah.
People are, they're afraid. They're like, I'm gonna, what are they gonna think about me if I throw this video out there? I'm like, dude, what do you got to lose? Like, they're already rejecting you, especially if they've rejected you.
Yeah.
Send them a video.
Yeah.
Why not? Or show up at their doorstep like Kathy did.
Show up at the doorstep. And here's the thing also, right? So I have rejected candidates before who came charging back to me and sold themselves again, who I hired. His name is Esteban Cruz. So check this out. Another true story, right?
Shout out Esteban. Mic drop
Here's a
for
shout
you.
out to Esteban. Very, very talented software engineer, right? He applied to a mid-level web developer role, right? But he had no professional experience. His resume, he was a line cook at a bar. Okay, a line cook at a bar. So as a recruiter, I'm constantly filtering through resumes, and it was not a fit. He called me the next day after I sent him a decline notice. And then his passion won me over, and I started talking to him. I learned that he was making his own apps and selling them on the App Store to make money to put him through school. And that's all I needed to do to create an opportunity to stick him in front of my QA team, who we ultimately hired him. He became a junior level QA, then ultimately a software engineer, and now he's one of the best out there.
I love it, man. It's all about the human element, and if you can get it involved as early as possible, and black and white text on a piece of paper is not human, okay? It's just not. So, all right, I want to know more about what you were speaking on the stage about. You got a deal put together with Microsoft. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so Microsoft is piloting my program right now. So I took all of my virtual training. I have a signature workshop, my recruitment culture workshop, where I help companies create a culture of recruitment, which is the ultimate recruiting strategy that exists. So my entire game, especially at Bottle Rocket, was turning them into recruiters for me. Right? Because they're the ones who have the relationships, the access, and also the credibility. That's the most scalable thing. So I come in and I work with a company and I train their employees how to advocate for their brand to increase employee referrals, right? It becomes it becomes like a viral recruiting approach, and that's my whole game. So I turned that because of COVID. That was part of the story here, because I lost 75% of my booked revenue in March of 2020 when COVID hit, because what am I? I'm a speaker trainer, right? But I started doing all these virtual gigs, and after looking at the virtual gigs, I saw that I was teaching through video. And as a training consultant, you're always on this looking for clients delivery. And I needed to create a recurring income model. And I saw everyone doing these courses. So then I turned my live workshops into courses. And I started user testing it independently, and it was good enough to show to a company. And then I landed a pilot at Microsoft. We're piloting it with them, and so far the results are great. And when I make this a success with them, it'll likely be a success for all the companies, Trevor.
Dude, I'm so excited for you. Seriously,
Yeah.
like I see this, like, and you're the guy to do it, man. Seriously, you are the guy to do this. And you're right. With Microsoft's backing like that, yeah, you're gonna be in all kinds of big companies. That's a lot of what I call cash flow coming your way, bro. It's happening for you. It is. It's happening for you, Julian.
Are these real hundreds?
They
I was about to say.
please don't. I don't want to see you go to jail. They're not real. They say copy money on them. But no, seriously, like you. And okay, so let's talk about that for a second. So your speech that you gave today was about resistance.
Yeah.
Is the gateway
To
the pathway
to
success.
That's right.
All right, so I envision this. I actually did a podcast episode last week where I was a little bit vulnerable, and I was talking about the resistance that I've been going through lately. And this year has been a lot of resistance. It's been a lot of this year's been I look at and my whole podcast episode was about the slingshot effect. Okay, I am being pulled. I am being stretched. There's this resistance. There's this struggle. But through it, I'm creating and I'm innovating and I'm learning and I'm adapting. And there's going to be a slingshot effect through all of this. So I'm excited about that because it reminds me a lot of what your speech was about, right? Through that resistance, like you're going to see a slingshot effect.
Yeah, and I think this topic is important because I think everyone here at Video Marketing World, they're passionate, they're doers, they want to do all this stuff. But the first thing is you have to have like an inspiring vision of the future. And then when you start to progress to it, it is inevitable that you will meet with resistance and failure and setbacks. But in the middle of it, it's hard to see where you are. It's hard to see what's going on when everyone else around you is succeeding, when you are constantly failing and nothing seems like you're doing things right. You have to remember that, right?
100%. I was having a conversation last night with Fanny Dunnigan, right? And
love Fanny.
Everybody loves Fanny.
She's such a bright light in this world. She
I
really is.
absolutely agree. I was bummed. I missed her. I missed her speech.
Well, she was awesome.
A little bit.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Well, I'll catch the video. But yeah, we were talking about it last night. Too close to the trees to see the forest, and I was telling her, a lot about. She knows what I've been going through, and so. She was like, here's what you need to do. And it was that cling. It was that light bulb moment that was like, oh my gosh, you're so right. I am too close to the trees to see the forest. She saw it, and she's right there.
Yeah.
Right? And she gave me the light bulb moment last night. And I'm like, wow, holy smokes, it's been right in front of me this whole time. So there is a challenge in my industry in financial services when it comes to marketing. Right? When it comes to marketing and financial services, it's extremely tough because there's regulations and compliance and
FINRA and all the jazz.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's right? So it's very, very challenging. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through that resistance and I'm going to I'm not only going to do it for myself, I'm going to plow through it and I'm going to create so much content, okay? And that content I'm going to then create some form of like library for other, agents and financial professionals that they can they can subscribe to it, and so it'll all be approved content that they can just repurpose, put their name on it. If it's a video script, they can just change out a little plug in here and there and use the same script that I've already had to go through that process of approvals and and so I'm going to go through it. I'm going to plow through that, and I'm going to create so much content at speed. It's not only going to help me, but it's also going to create a product that can help others to grow their business. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, totally.
But it's through the resistance. It's through the resistance because, it's very, very challenging. It's a process that's, content is hard enough to create.
Yeah.
But when you have all the other stuff, it's even harder.
But you found a path to be able to create content that's consistent with all the rules and regulation?
Well, that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay, that
Yep.
sounds like the huge win then
It
already,
is.
right? Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. See,
Yeah.
I was looking at it from a different lens. Like, oh, there's so much resistance here. Like this, it's so challenging that I will find a way around it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, around, and that's what I've been doing my entire career, is to find a way to market myself in a different way.
Yeah.
Like this. This is a different way of doing it. Okay,
Yeah.
it's not direct marketing. I don't
Sure.
really talk about my business all that much, right? And so I've been going around it instead of going through it. Going through the resistance is exactly
Interesting.
right.
Okay.
I've been going around the resistance. I'm like the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
So I could create content and marketing at speed. So I can go to the market and just be like, right? No. What Fanny helped me realize yesterday is, no, you need to go through it, like you're saying, and plow through that and create the processes and create the systems that will allow you to be able to sell that to everyone else.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's genius.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
100%, and that's a lot more scalable too, I think, too, because
Yeah.
you're creating a training product, you're enabling, and you become a
Yes.
kind of a force multiplier too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I
Because
see
why?
that.
Like, okay, so let's say I write a video script, go through all of the back and forth, and all the regulation compliance and all that stuff, right? Go through the back and forth, and I get it approved. It's all good to go. I
Yeah.
got this video script. Why should that stop with just me? I went through all the time and energy and effort. Why couldn't that be used for 15,000, 20,000 financial professionals?
Yeah.
Use the exact same script.
100%.
Put their name on it, right?
Yeah.
I also thought about it. I had an idea. I was like, why don't, in that process of creating this product, why don't I just buy and purchase other financial professionals' content?
Oh, content.
Yes.
Okay.
So they go through the process of creating a video script or whatever, creating an article or whatever it is. And they're getting it approved and getting all the magic formula,
yeah.
right? Why should it end with them? Can I buy your script? Let me buy your script so I can sell it to 15 other thousand people, right?
And you find a way to do this that's like kosher with everyone?
Yeah. I want to, yeah.
Sounds like a pretty big idea, Trevor. I mean,
That's what. Anyway, so that wasn't my idea. That was Fanny last night. But it's so true, though. It's going through the resistance.
Yeah.
I was going around it, man.
yeah.
But
Interesting. Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
It's an interesting way to see the metaphor. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, that was the resistance was you want to do something, but something is preventing you to do it. Going through the resistance is any way to be able to get through it to achieve your particular outcome. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like you have to keep looking, trying different things until you find what works.
Well, and that's what I did here. As I did find a way around it. I found kind of like, I'm creativity always finds a way, right? And that's something I always say. Creativity always finds a way. And so I was being creative, and I was finding ways to do things, and but it created more resistance actually. This has created just a different type of resistance. And so I'm like, dang, I'm dealing with resistance either way.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, I might as well.
Let's pick our poison here. Which one are we doing? Yeah.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
Who says that? Like, work is hard, being broke is hard, pick your hard. Like, either one's hard. But anyways, I forget who said that. I think it was Grant Cardone. Something like that. Pick your battle, pick your hard. Anyways. Julian, man, you're awesome, dude. You know what? Seriously, because of this conversation is so relevant and timely, I would like to pick this up and talk to you some more.
Sure.
And I actually have a space that, if you're available, I would like to interview you on Breakfast with Champions Monday morning. It's at 10 o'clock, and if you're available, let me know. I'd like to interview you on this topic because I just spoke on again about the slingshot effect.
Yeah.
Essentially, kind of the same thing and what I'm going through, and I'd love your perspective and to dive deeper into some of the resistance you were going through. Maybe we can dive a little bit deeper.
Yeah, 100%.
If you're available.
That'd be great. Yeah. I'll check. I think I have a one-on-one with someone, but yeah, we'll make it work.
Yeah, if it works, it works.
Yeah.
If not, we can maybe schedule for the following week or whatever we need to do. But I love you, man.
Dude, anytime I can spend time with Trevor Houston, man, you know I'm down.
Dude, come on, man.
For real.
On, man. I'm just trying to learn from you, man. You up there crushing it, guys. So you guys need to go check out Julian Placino. Julian, where's the best place for the audience to connect with you?
You can follow me on LinkedIn. I'm the only Julian Placino that's ever existed, so you can search me on any platform. I'll be the first one to come up.
Absolutely. And tell him what was your favorite mic drop moment. I want you to blow him up, okay? Send him the DMs and the comments and all that stuff. I want his notification going crazy. You know what I'm saying? I want you to be like, who you know, and just blow him up so he knows what it's all about. Guys, that's the show. It's all about who you know. And a little cash flow. Thanks for listening to the Who You Know Show podcast. My name is Trevor Houston, and if you've enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing wherever you listen and leave us a positive review to help us keep the mics on in the studio. Until next week, that's the show. It's all about who you know.